in this lecture, we will be deriving the power derived from the wind, the power available from the wind. So we already know that the wind possesses energy due to its motion. So we know that energy due to movement is the kinetic energy. So wind is having kinetic energy, and if any device can slow down the movement of air, then that particular device can extract a portion of the energy from the wind, and this energy can be converted to useful work. So this is what done by the wind turbines. So wind turbines actually obstructs the flow of air, or it obstructs the wind, and during that time the wind slows down, and that means a part of the kinetic energy of the wind is being extracted by the wind turbine, and this energy can be converted to either mechanical energy or into electrical energy. So we have to calculate the power contained in the wind, that is power available in the wind, as well as the power output of wind turbines. That means how much power that the wind turbine can extract from the wind. Okay. So now let us move on to the derivation and the power output of a wind converter system. Power output of a wind energy converter depends mainly on three factors. First one is the wind velocity. Second one is the area of the wind swept by the turbine rotor. And third one is the overall conversion efficiency of the rotor, transmission system, and the generator. So the power output of a wind turbine depends on these three factors: the velocity of the wind, the area of the wind swept by the rotor, how much area of the wind, how much area of the incoming wind is being intercepted by the turbine rotor, and third one is the overall efficiency of the turbine rotor, the transmission system, and the generator. The transmission system means the system used for transmitting this rotational motion from the rotor to the generator. So this includes the gears. So these are the three factors on which the power output of a wind turbine depends on. So now let us move on to the derivation part. So we can derive the expression for power output of a wind turbine using the concept of kinetics. So let us write. The mass of air flowing through an area A in unit time with velocity v. That is m is equal to. So we are going to calculate the mass of air flowing through an area A in unit time with a velocity v. So that mass can be represented as m, and m will be equal to rho into A into v. So where rho is the density of air. Okay. So mass of air flowing through an area A in unit time with velocity v is m is equal to rho into A into v. So let us see how this equation comes. So we have rho is the density of air. Density means mass per unit volume. So mass divided by volume. So come to this equation. So we have rho into, rho means mass divided by volume, into area, A is the area, into v is the velocity. Velocity is distance divided by time, or displacement divided by time. Okay, we'll get it like this. Now what is area into distance? Area into distance will give us the volume. So this term is volume. So volume and volume gets cancelled. Area into distance is volume. So here also volume is there in the denominator. So volume and volume gets cancelled. And what remaining is mass divided by time. So that is what we have written here. Mass of air flowing through an area A in unit time. Mass divided by time. So we can write it as rho into A into V. And this M is actually known as the mass flow rate. So it is mass per unit time. So it can be called as mass flow rate. Mass of air flowing in unit time. So this M denotes the mass flow rate. So now we know that energy of the wind is kinetic energy. So let us write energy available in the wind. That is kinetic energy of wind is equal to, we already know the equation for kinetic energy as half mv square. So this is equal to half into m into v square. So we have got the equation for m as rho into A into v. So this becomes half into rho A v into v square. That is half rho A v cube. So this is the equation for energy available in the wind, kinetic energy of the wind. So now, so here A means the area of the wind swept by the rotor. So we know in case of a wind turbine, the turbine when it rotates, it actually sweeps a circular area. So when the turbine blades rotates, it sweeps a circular area. So and if D is the diameter of the turbine blades, we can write the swept area of the turbine as A is equal to pi d square by 4. Area of that circle, pi d square by 4. So then we can write the kinetic energy available in the wind as half into rho into A is pi d square by 4 into v cube. That becomes 1 by 8 into rho into pi d square into v cube. So this is the value of kinetic energy of the wind when the turbine is sweeping a circular area having a diameter d. We have to keep in mind that a wind turbine system can never have 100% efficiency. So a turbine can never have 100% efficiency. That means it cannot extract the entire kinetic energy available in the wind. So what happens if a turbine extracts the entire kinetic energy of wind? The kinetic energy of the wind becomes zero at the downstream side of the turbine. That is, behind the turbine, the velocity or kinetic energy of the wind becomes zero. So the velocity becomes zero. Velocity of wind is zero means wind cannot move further. So if there is no movement of air, there will not be a wind and the turbine system cannot operate. So that means a wind turbine system can never have 100% efficiency. എന്താന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ സോ വിൻഡ് ടർബൈൻ ഔട്ട്പുട്ട് തരുന്നത് എങ്ങനെയാണ്? വിൻഡിന്റെ കൈനറ്റിക് എനർജി എക്സ്ട്രാക്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ട് ആ എനർജിയെയാണ് ഇത് മെക്കാനിക്കൽ എനർജി ആയിട്ട് കൺവേർട്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഒരു വിൻഡ് ടർബൈൻ 100% എഫിഷ്യന്റ് ആണെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ അതിന്റെ മീനിങ് എന്താണ്? വരുന്ന വിൻഡിന്റെ 100% കൈനറ്റിക് എനർജിയും നമ്മുടെ ടർബൈൻ എക്സ്ട്രാക്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നു. ഇനി 100% എനർജി എക്സ്ട്രാക്ട് ചെയ്താൽ പിന്നെ വിൻഡിന് കൈനറ്റിക് എനർജി ഉണ്ടോ? ഇല്ല. ടർബൈനെ സ്ട്രൈക്ക് ചെയ്തിട്ട് ടർബൈന്റെ ഓപ്പോസിറ്റ് സൈഡിൽ വരുന്ന വിൻഡിന് പിന്നെ കൈനറ്റിക് എനർജി ഇല്ല. ദാറ്റ് മീൻസ് ഇറ്റ്സ് വെലോസിറ്റി വിൽ ബി 0. വെലോസിറ്റി 0 ആണെങ്കിൽ പിന്നെ എയറിന് അവിടെ മൂവ്മെന്റ് ഇല്ല. സോ എയറിന്റെ മൂവ്മെന്റ് ആണല്ലോ വിൻഡ്. എയറിന് അവിടെ മൂവ്മെന്റ് ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ there will not be a wind. So that operation is not possible. So a wind turbine can never have 100% efficiency. And a term known as power coefficient is defined for a wind turbine. Power coefficient denoted as Cp, and it is defined as the fraction of power that the wind turbine extract from the wind. So available wind പവറിന്റെ എത്ര പെർസെന്റേജ് ആണ്, എത്ര ഫ്രാക്ഷൻ ആണ് ആ വിൻഡ് ടർബൈൻ എക്സ്ട്രാക്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നത് എന്ന് കാണിക്കുന്ന ടേം ആണ് പവർ കോഎഫിഷ്യന്റ്. ദ ഫ്രാക്ഷൻ ഓഫ് പവർ extracted by the wind turbine from the available wind. So power coefficient will be power output of the turbine divided by power available in the wind. So this is similar to the efficiency. So this power coefficient is similar to the efficiency of the turbine. Okay. So output divided by input. Output power of the turbine divided by power in the wind. That means input power to the turbine. So this power coefficient is somewhat similar to the efficiency of the turbine, and the theoretical maximum efficiency of a wind turbine is only 59.3%. That is 0.593. So maximum output will be 0.593 times the input power, or output power of a wind turbine will be equal to 0.593 times the input power or power contained in the wind. And this term 0.593 or 59.3% is known as Betz limit. Betz limit, which is the theoretical maximum efficiency of a wind turbine. So the theoretical maximum efficiency of a wind turbine is 0.593 or 59.3%, and that value is known as Betz limit. Okay. So now let us move on to the derivation part. So for deriving the equation, consider a horizontal axis wind turbine having a thickness AB for the turbine wheel. A horizontal axis wind turbine with a thickness AB. The turbine rotor is having a thickness AB. So now I am going to draw the variation of pressure and velocity of the wind as it is moving through the wind turbine. So velocity and pressure of the wind at the incoming side as well as on the outgoing side. So let us draw it. So first of all, let us draw the pressure variation. So this is pressure, this is the distance. So x-axis is the distance, and in the second diagram let us draw the velocity, variation of velocity. Okay. So initially at the incoming side, the velocity of the initial velocity of the wind can be, initial pressure of the wind can be represented as Pi, and this portion denotes the turbine wheel. So this is the turbine wheel having a thickness AB. So on striking the turbine, the wind is assumed to have a pressure of Pa, and when this wind strikes the turbine blade, the wind expands and its pressure decreases. So it can be drawn like this. and here the wind pressure can be marked as PB. And after leaving the turbine and traveling through sufficient distance, the wind regains its pressure, and let it be PE, the pressure of wind at the exit side of the turbine. Okay, this is the pressure variation graph. So now let us draw the velocity variation. So this be the average velocity of wind in the turbine, Vt. So initially the wind is assumed to have a velocity Vi. So this is the turbine blade, A, B, turbine wheel, and on reaching the turbine wheel, the pressure of air is assumed as Va, and in the turbine blade, the pressure of air decreases. It becomes Vb here, and after leaving the turbine, the air is having a velocity. At the exit side, the air is having a velocity Ve. So this is the graph showing the variation of wind velocity. So now by analyzing this graph, we can see that Pi is equal to Pe. The pressure of air at the incoming side as well as the exit side are same. Pi is equal to Pe. This is one assumption. And from this graph, so we can say that the thickness of turbine wheel AB is very small. So this variation in velocity is also very small. So as the thickness of turbine blade is very small, the wind undergoes a very gradual, very small change in velocity when it is passing over the turbine blade. So we can write Va, velocity at A, approximately equal to Vb. These are approximately equal to Vt, the average wind velocity Vt. So Va approximately equal to Vb, approximately equal to Vt. So these are the two assumptions that we got from this graph, and these two are needed in the upcoming part of the derivation. So let us note down these two relations. Pi is equal to Pe, Va is equal to Vb is equal to Vt. So now let us consider the general energy equation of a thermodynamic system. So here the general energy equation for a thermodynamic system is written. So assume a fluid is flowing from a medium 1 to a medium 2. So the general energy equation will be like this. That means total energy will be the same. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. Law of conservation of energy, we know that. So energy in medium 1, total energy in the medium 1 will be same as the total energy in the medium 2. So Z1 represents the potential energy, Z represents the potential energy, V square by 2G is the kinetic energy. So let's see. So we know that kinetic energy is half mv square. So here we are actually considering the energy equation for a flow of unit mass. So mass we are considering as unity 1. So equation becomes V square by 2, and so these are equations related to fluid mechanics. Fluid mechanics, and in fluid mechanics and using Bernoulli's equation, you may have heard of Bernoulli's equation. In Bernoulli's equation, usually the mass, these terms are divided by acceleration due to gravity. It is based on the Bernoulli's principle. We can divide this term V square by 2 using the acceleration due to gravity. So this is a general procedure that we are adopting from fluid mechanics. So keep it in mind. So V square by 2G represents the kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is actually half mv square, and we are considering unit mass. So we will get it as V square by 2, and according to Bernoulli's principle from fluid mechanics, we have to divide this V square by 2 using acceleration due to gravity G. So this is our V square by 2G represents the kinetic energy. U is the internal energy. Delta Q. So this side it is delta Q. So delta Q is the heat energy added to the system. and here we have delta WSF. So as a result of this heat energy added, some work will be done by the system. So delta WSF denotes the work done by the system. So this is the general energy equation for a thermodynamic system. So please note it down. So now, while we have drawn the pressure and velocity variation graph of wind, we have marked the incoming air as I and the turbine blade as AB, as it is having a thickness AB, and the outgoing air, that is at the exit side, it is marked as E. Okay. So now let us consider the incoming air between I and A as a thermodynamic system. So let me draw it again. So we have marked it like this. AB is the thickness of the turbine blade. Here pressure is Pi, this is Pa, this is Pb, and this is Pe. So let us consider the incoming air between I and A as a thermodynamic system. So now we can apply the energy equation to this part also. So let I be the medium 1 and A be the medium 2. Okay. So now let us write the general energy equation. We know the general energy equation. In this case, assume that the potential energy is 0 and no heat is added to or removed from the system. So potential energy is 0 and no heat is added to or removed from the system. So the energy equation in this case will have only the kinetic energy term and the flow energy term. So let us write the equation. So medium 1 is I. So that becomes the kinetic energy is Vi square divided by 2G plus flow energy. So flow energy is Pi into V. So in the previous case, while I have written the general energy equation, there was a term P1 V1. Okay, that P1 V1 term denotes the flow energy. Okay, P1 V1 is the flow energy. So I am not sure whether I have written this term there or not. So let me write the general energy equation again. So energy equation was Z1 plus V1 square divided by 2G plus P1 V1 plus U1 plus delta Q. This was the left hand side, and here this is the potential energy, this is the kinetic energy, this is the flow energy. Pressure into volume, this V is the volume. Flow energy, this is the internal energy, and this is the heat energy added to the system. So here we are considering that potential energy is 0 and no heat is added to or removed from the system. So delta Q and internal energy will also be 0, and the remaining energy equation will contain only the kinetic energy and the flow energy. So kinetic energy is Vi square by 2G plus flow energy is Pi into Vi actually, which is equal to right hand side becomes Va square divided by 2G plus Pa into Va. Okay, this will be the energy equation for the thermodynamic system between I and A. Okay, so here Vi and Va denotes the volume. So volume of air does not changes in this case. So we can write both as V. So now let us write the expression for Pa from here. Pa, pressure at point A will be equal to 1 by V into Pi into V plus Vi square divided by 2G minus Va square divided by 2G. Okay, so now this becomes Pa is equal to, this V and V gets cancelled, so Pi plus this 2G can be taken as common, so 2G into Vi square minus Va square into 1 divided by V. 1 by V into. So what is 1 by V? So here we have considered the mass as unity, 1. So I can write 1 by V as mass divided by volume, which is our density of air, rho. So mass divided by volume is rho. Here we have considered mass as 1. So 1 by V can be represented as rho. So this 1 by V can be written as rho. Rho into Vi square minus Va square divided by 2G. So this is PA and mark it as equation number 1. So now let us consider the outgoing air between B and E as another thermodynamic system and write the energy equation. So equation becomes Vb square. The potential energy, kinetic energy is Vb square divided by 2G plus flow energy becomes Pb into V is equal to, for the exit side it is Ve square divided by 2G plus Pe into V. And similarly, like this, reduce like this and we will get the value of Pb. Write the equation for Pb. So it will be Pb is equal to Pe plus rho into Ve square minus Vb square divided by 2G. So this is equation number 2. Okay. So now subtract equation number 2 from equation number 1. So let us do equation number 1 minus equation number 2. So equation number 1 was PA is equal to Pi plus rho into Vi square minus Va square divided by 2G. And equation number 2 was Pb is equal to Pe plus rho into Ve square minus Vb square divided by 2G. So let us do equation number 1 minus equation number 2. So left hand side becomes Pa minus Pb is equal to Pi minus Pe plus rho into Pi square minus Va square divided by 2G. So we have to subtract this term from this term. So here rho by 2G is a constant. So rho by 2G into, so let us write it like this, rho by 2G into Vi square minus Va square minus Ve square minus Vb square. So Vi square minus Va square minus Ve square, minus of minus Vb square becomes plus Vb square. So this will be the remaining term. Okay. So now, while drawing the pressure and velocity variation graph, we have denoted two assumptions from there. That was Pi is equal to Pe and Va is equal to Vb. So let us substitute that here. So Pi is equal to Pe. That means these two terms gets cancelled. And also Va is equal to Vb. So minus Va square and plus Vb square gets cancelled. So remaining term becomes Pa minus Pb is equal to rho into Vi square minus Ve square divided by 2G. Okay. So this is the variation of pressure across the turbine blade, Pa minus Pb. So we have denoted the pressure variation as this is Pa and this is Pb. So Pa minus Pb is the variation of pressure across the turbine blade. So we have got that value, and if this is the pressure variation across the turbine blade, then we can write the equation for horizontal force exerted by the wind as Fx is equal to, we know that force is equal to pressure into area, or pressure is the force per unit area. So force, horizontal force in the direction of wind will be PA minus PB into area A. Area of wind swept by the rotor A. So this will be rho into A into VI square minus VE square divided by 2G. Okay. So this is the equation for horizontal force. Let us denote it as equation number 3. So now, also we know that the force is equal to change in momentum. So this is from Newton's second law of motion. Force is equal to change in momentum. That is, change in momentum is m into v. Mass into velocity gives the momentum. So change in momentum is delta m into v. And as I have already said, according to Bernoulli's principle, we have to divide this term by acceleration due to gravity g. So this will be equal to m. M is the mass flow rate, and we have already denoted it as rho into A into V. So now here V will be the average velocity in the turbine, that is Vt. So we have denoted that term as Vt into delta V, change in velocity. So what is the change in velocity? From the graph showing the variation of velocity, the initial velocity was marked as Vi and the final velocity as Ve. So delta V or change in velocity will be, this delta V will be Vi minus Ve, okay, divided by G. So we have two equations for the horizontal force, equation number 3 and 4. So now in the next step, equate 3 and 4. Okay, so equating 3 and 4. So we will get rho A into Vi square minus Ve square divided by 2G is equal to rho A into Vt into Vi minus Ve divided by G. Okay. So here see this term Vi square minus Ve square, that is A square minus B square, which can be written as A plus B into A minus B. So let us denote that this term as Vi plus Ve into Vi minus Ve. Okay, so this Vi minus Ve and this Vi minus Ve gets cancelled. Similarly, rho A, G, G. So what remains is Vt is equal to Vi plus Ve divided by 2. So note it down. So average velocity across the turbine blade is equal to the velocity of the incoming wind plus velocity of the outgoing wind divided by 2. It is the average of the incoming and outgoing wind velocity. Velocity of the wind across the turbine is the average of the velocity of incoming wind as well as the outgoing wind. So we need this for the coming steps. Vt is equal to Vi plus Ve divided by 2. So now let us calculate the kinetic energy. So here work done will be equal to change in kinetic energy. So we can write work done is equal to change in kinetic energy. That is kinetic energy of incoming air minus kinetic energy of outgoing air. So what is the equation for kinetic energy? V square by 2G. So here it is Vi square divided by 2G minus Ve square divided by 2G. So this is the equation for kinetic energy, and we know that the power is equal to mass flow rate into the work done. So this is from mass flow rate equation. This equation is also taken from fluid mechanics. This is the mass flow rate equation. So according to mass flow rate equation, the power is equal to mass flow rate into work done. So which is equal to, so power of wind will be equal to mass flow rate of wind into work done by the wind. So that is mass flow rate we have as rho into A into Vt into, what is W? Vi square minus Ve square divided by 2G. So this is the expression for power. So now here, instead of Vt, we have to substitute what? Vi plus Ve divided by 2. So we have to substitute Vt as Vi plus Ve divided by 2. So power becomes rho A into Vt is Vi plus Ve divided by 2 into Vi square minus Ve square divided by 2G. So that becomes rho A divided by 4G. 4G into Vi plus Ve into Vi square minus Ve square. So this is the expression for power output of a wind turbine. Expression for power output of a wind turbine. So initially we have derived the expression for kinetic energy in the wind, that was half into rho A V cube. So now this equation for power denotes the power output from the wind turbine. So now we have to find the expression for maximum power output. Okay, so we have to find the expression for maximum power output. Okay, ഇനി നമുക്കറിയാം ഏതൊരു ക്വാണ്ടിറ്റിയുടെയും മാക്സിമം കണ്ടുപിടിക്കണമെങ്കിൽ എന്ത് ചെയ്യും? ആ കറസ്പോണ്ടിങ് ഇക്വേഷനെ ആ കറസ്പോണ്ടിങ് വേരിയബിൾ വെച്ചിട്ട് ഡിഫറൻഷിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് ആ ഡെറിവേറ്റീവിനെ സീറോയ്ക്ക് ഇക്വേറ്റ് ചെയ്യും. ഫസ്റ്റ് ഡെറിവേറ്റീവ് വിത്ത് റെസ്പെക്ട് ടു ദ വേരിയബിൾ ഇസ് ഇക്വേറ്റഡ് ടു സീറോ അല്ലെ? ഫസ്റ്റ് ഡെറിവേറ്റീവ് കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചിട്ട് സീറോയുമായിട്ട് ഇക്വേറ്റ് ചെയ്യും. അപ്പൊ നമുക്ക് ആ കറസ്പോണ്ടിങ് വേരിയബിളിന്റെ വാല്യൂ കിട്ടും. അങ്ങനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ മാക്സിമം കണ്ടുപിടിക്കുന്നത്. So we have to find out the maximum power. So we have to differentiate this power with respect to VE. So dP divided by VE, and we have to equate it to 0. Okay. So dP divided by dVE has to be calculated and equated to 0. ഇനി ഇവിടെ രണ്ട് വേരിയബിൾസ് ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, VI ഉണ്ട് VE ഉണ്ട്. സോ എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് വിത്ത് റെസ്പെക്ട് ടു VE നമ്മൾ ഡിഫറൻഷിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്? സോ that means VE is the velocity of the air at the back of the turbine, at the exit side of the turbine. So exit side velocity എത്രയാണെന്ന് ഉള്ളതിനെ ഡിപ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്തിരിക്കും ആക്ച്വലി ഉണ്ടായിരുന്ന വെലോസിറ്റിയിൽ നിന്ന് ടർബൈൻ എന്തുമാത്രം എക്സ്ട്രാക്ട് ചെയ്തു എന്നുള്ളത്. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പൊ ടർബൈൻ കൂടുതൽ എക്സ്ട്രാക്ട് ചെയ്താൽ VE കുറവായിരിക്കും. സോ ഒരു ടർബൈൻ്റെ എഫിഷ്യൻസി, ടർബൈന് വിൻഡിൽ നിന്ന് പവറിനെ എക്സ്ട്രാക്ട് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള അതിന്റെ എബിലിറ്റി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ആരെ വെച്ചിട്ട് നമുക്ക് മനസ്സിലാക്കാം? വെലോസിറ്റി ഓഫ് എയർ അറ്റ് ദി എക്സിറ്റ് സൈഡ്. എക്സിറ്റ് സൈഡിൽ എത്ര വെലോസിറ്റി ഉണ്ടോ അത്രയും വെലോസിറ്റി അവിടെ ടർബൈൻ എക്സ്ട്രാക്ട് ചെയ്തെടുത്തു. സോ വി ഹാവ് ടു ഡിഫറൻഷിയേറ്റ് ദ പവർ വിത്ത് റെസ്പെക്ട് ടു വെലോസിറ്റി ഓഫ് ദ വിൻഡ് അറ്റ് ദ എക്സിറ്റ് സൈഡ് ഓഫ് ദ ടർബൈൻ. സോ വി ഹാവ് ദ ഇക്വേഷൻ ഫോർ പവർ. സോ എക്സ്പാൻഡ് ദിസ് ആൻഡ് സിംപ്ലിഫൈ ദ ഇക്വേഷൻ and then differentiate it with respect to VE and equate it to 0 and find the final equation. So I am not deriving it. I am not going to simplify this term. You can do it by yourself. Adum kudi cheyidal derivation will be very lengthy. So let me write the answer here. So when you equate dP by dVE to 0, the result equation becomes 3VE square plus 2 into VE into VI minus VI square. So this is the value of dP divided by dVE. So this should be equated to 0. So this is a quadratic equation and you have to solve the equation. So this is the second degree equation and there will be two solutions for this. So on solving this, the solutions that you will obtain are VI is equal to VE. This is the first solution, and VE is equal to 1 by 3 times Vi. These are the two solutions that you are going to obtain. So now look at these two solutions. So first solution means the velocity of air, velocity of wind at the incoming side as well as the exit side are the same. That means the turbine does not extract any energy from the wind. So that is not possible. Possible alla. Turbine kuda pass ചെയ്തു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ turbine velocity, kinetic energy extract ചെയ്യും. Exit side le velocity കുറയും. So this solution is not acceptable. So now move on to the next solution. So it states that the velocity at the exit side is only 1/3 of the velocity at the incoming side. So this is the acceptable solution. So now by substituting this value in the equation for power, we will get the maximum value of power. Okay. So let us calculate the maximum power. Maximum power കിട്ടാൻ എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം? Substitute. So let this be equation number 5. For getting the maximum power, substitute VE is equal to 1 by 3 VI in equation number 5. Then 5 becomes, so the power then you will obtain will be the maximum power, P max. So you simplify it by yourself, and I am just going to write the answer only. Okay, P max will be 8 divided by 27 G into rho A VI cube. Okay, rho A VI cube. So let me rearrange this as 16 divided by 27 into 1 by 2. Okay, 8 by 27 can be written as 16 divided by 27 into 1 by 2. Okay, G is here into rho A VI cube. Okay, so 16 divided by 27, you will get it as 0.593. So 0.593 into the remaining term is 1 by 2 rho A VI cube divided by G. So what is this term? We have already seen this term in the initial part of the derivation. This is actually the power contained in the wind. This is the power contained in the wind. That is rho half into rho A VI cube. So it is getting divided by G, the acceleration due to gravity. So this, here we have written the equation for maximum power output from the wind. So we have got it as the maximum power output is equal to 0.593 into power available in the wind, power contained in the wind. Okay, so the maximum power output is 0.593 times or 59.3% of the power available in the wind. So now let us write P max divided by P wind. This is the power available in the wind. So we can write P max divided by P wind is equal to what? 0.593, and this is known as the power coefficient of the wind turbine, and also known as Beck's limit. So we know that this P max divided by P wind, that is output power of the wind turbine divided by power available in the wind. It also denotes the efficiency of the wind turbine. And we have got it as the efficiency of wind turbine. The theoretical maximum efficiency of a wind turbine is only 59.3% of the power contained in the wind. Theoretical maximum efficiency is only 59.3%, and it is known as Beck's limit. So this is how the equation for output power of a wind turbine can be derived.